Nice.
And here we go, and we're started. This is episode 2 of the Walk the Plank podcast, brought to you by Pirate on Cassette. Oh, your ultimate live mixtape experience. Basically, you're going to see us again, which I should talk about, is on October 4th. We actually asked these guys, the Wicked Bees, to come and play along with us, which I'm glad that they could not do it because we would have to bring our game. Oh, my God. We would have to bring it hard for that one. But we do have a couple other bands that are going to be there. It's a Gen X experience, we're calling it. We're trying to bring everything back to the late 1990s and before that. So it's a no cell phone thing. It's basically you're going to come in. We're going to have a whole bunch of retro stuff for you to do, gaming-wise and music-wise. We have a couple other bands. One, what are they called? The Winter Sloth. Sorry, guys. They're coming up right there. And then also A Day of Bliss will also be playing along with us. So DJ T will be headlining everything for us that evening. And then it's just going to be a good time. They'll be at the Tech on October 4th, 6:30 to 11 o'clock, an all-ages event. And, there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff that we'll be talking about later. But right now, we need to talk about the Wicked Bees because they're putting out an EP, which, in my book, it's kind of getting rare these days. Anyone's even recording anything, much less, an actual EP. So I'm guessing there's 5 tunes on there. And this is a ska horn band in Fargo, North Dakota, What is going on here? Yeah, exactly. Yep. And it's live horns and everything else. I got questions for you on some of this stuff because I saw a pedal board and all this other fun stuff now, and I was like, what? What? I thought about this years ago, but I didn't think anyone would actually go through with it. So I'm going to have you guys introduce yourselves. Right here on screen so far is Mr. Dan Christensen. I'm going to introduce you first off. And why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm Dan Christensen. I am the guitar player and singer for The Wicked Bees. I'm also a band director, and I've been playing music my whole life. I'm a lifer, so it's band directing by day,
head's gone,
ska band, and stuff like that by night. So life is good. And
then we have these other two over here. We got them strangled on the side. Yes, I apologize. My camera angles are only this good. So introduce yourself there, Mike.
All right, I'm Isaac. I play trumpet in the Wicked Bees. We don't have him here today, but our other 2 horn players are Andrew Danielson on saxophone and Dorian Walker on the trombone. I'm one of the newer members of the group. I just graduated from NDSU, and now I'm the band director in Fargo over at Carl Ben Eielson Middle School.
More educators, I swear to God. Here we go.
My name's Andrew Ochoa. I play the drums, and I'm not an educator. I'm actually a student in this band. They're teaching me how to play the drums still. I'm an electrician by day. I tell people I'm living that Hannah Montana life. I'm an electrician by day, and then I throw the wig on the weekends. And then,
there you go.
Yeah.
All right, Dan, we'll bring it back to you because that way we can show off our fancy green screen we got going here, which you can see in the other ones. See, there is a green screen, but it doesn't do anything on this camera. I don't know. I couldn't figure that out before we got started.
Exposed.
So. We are exposed. So how long has this band been going, and when did it get started, and how did any of this happen?
Yeah, so this band has been going since 2011, 2012.
I think
wow.
So.
It's been a long time. And, Andrew's an OG. We met each other. Well, I mean, it was me, Andrew, and then Clyde, our bass player, kind of the original 3. And, would you want to talk about how
it's time for the Green Day story.
I think so. That's what I was going. Yeah.
Green Day.
Yeah. Green Day.
It's all thanks to Green Day.
Yeah. They're fantastic.
Now Andrew
band.
pipes up.
Yeah, dude. I had a front row seat. It was 2009, the 21st Century Breakdown Tour. They pulled a kid on stage to play guitar in Fargo. It was Dan. It's on YouTube. I was like,
still on YouTube. We should get a clip of that.
Still on YouTube. It is. Yeah.
Get that put down below.
Yeah,
Dan will have to send me that.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, it's great.
My 15 minutes. Yeah.
So we just figured right there, Green Day. That's got to play with this guy, and it took us a while at first, and then finally something kind of stuck, and a ska band, and we gathered some other friends, and it took a while to develop, but here's where we are today.
Always takes a while to develop, but ska from Green Day. Well, I guess you can see that, but
Yeah, so that's how I met Andrew, like through the Green Day connection, you
Okay.
know. And I think he hit me up, or I hit him, or he hit me up, and then we were like, "Oh man, that's so." Because Andrew's a Fargo native, you know, and I
Yeah.
had just moved to Fargo after the Green Day concert, so I didn't know anyone, you know. I knew I wanted to play in a band, you know, and I knew Andrew was playing in bands at the time, you
Yeah,
know.
there was a couple years where we just oh, you're playing, I'm playing, whatever. Like it wasn't like an initial right off the
No.
back. It took a couple years.
It took a couple years, yeah, and like I knew who he was, and like that he was kind of in the scene, you know, and I knew I wanted to get there and be like that. And then Clyde, who's been on this podcast, right?
yes,
Yep.
yes, he has. He's one of the last ones.
Clyde was I met him in a different way, you know. I mean the I like to say, you know, for Andrew it was kind of like an online musical connection. Clyde, it was like the musical love at first sight kind of connection, you know, because we were.
I love Clyde as well.
I do.
He came and subbed for us once, and
He's
oh
that-
my gosh, I was like, dude, why do you got to play with everybody? Not that way, sickos. Okay.
It was back. Remember when Best Buy had a music section?
Yeah, I was there for a little bit.
Oh, really? You worked there?
Yeah, I was in
No way.
the what do they call that? I was supposed to be teaching lessons, but it was contracted through some national thing, and
Oh,
they were
yeah, right,
literally
yep.
asking twice as much as what the doctorates were asking for a half an hour. Yeah, it was a tough putt, and it didn't really work out. We'll
I
just say
remember
that.
But anyways, I was in Best Buy, and I was like playing some, you know, as you do, you know, kind of like the Guitar Center experience. You sit down and you play a bunch of guitars, and you know, like you play like riffs and things, and I was playing like some ska music and I think some Red Hot Chili Peppers, and like Clyde,
What?
who I didn't know at
No
all.
stairway?
No stairway. No.
Dan, disappointment.
I know it was, yeah. But anyways, Clyde, who I didn't know at all, just like grabbed a bass and like sat right down next to me and just like started playing. You know, I didn't know him at all.
Very organic.
Yep, very organic,
Love
and
that.
we were like, oh, we know like and are into all the same stuff. That's super cool. And I was like, well, we should play sometime. Anyways, he was still in high school. I was in college. We're like I'm 3 years older than him. But you know, when you're younger like that 3 years, especially when you're in college versus in high school,
Oh,
makes a difference. You know,
Huge difference.
yeah. So I think he told me later, like after we first jammed together, that like his dad was a little nervous, you know, hearing.
You're gonna corrupt my child there.
Yeah, like,
Oh my
so who's coming over? I was like, oh, Dan. Who is Dan?
Dan?
This is a guy I met at Best Buy, Dad. Like,
Underrated fact: Clyde was playing pickled parrot with us while he was still in high school.
yeah, he
I
was.
think.
Yeah, he was underage.
Yeah.
The pickled parrot.
Oh yeah.
We
The
were
good
like,
old
well,
days.
We turned 21 on this date, and Clyde turns 18 on this date. But that's where that started.
But now we've all gotten old, and so we got a bunch of horn players that are young to make us feel better.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotcha. So how did the horn player thing start? Did it start with horn players at the beginning? I don't think. Well, just what I can remember.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I went back, like you can look up like all of your. No, we had like remember on Facebook we had a secret group, you know, for us
Yeah.
to communicate.
Oh,
Remember
secret-
those
archives
secret
amazing.
groups?
Oh,
Yeah.
You know, archives, and I went back like I don't know what I was looking for. I was looking for something, but I ended up going all the way back
And
to
what
like
did you
our
find?
first messages, you know, and like I could see like there was a while we were like debating the horns, like
Yeah.
should we have the horns? Should we
Mhm.
not have the horns? You know, and like, well, more people's gonna make it harder to book. True, right?
Yep.
But
Yeah.
like, I come from, you know, like a band director family. Growing up, watching my dad play trumpet in a bunch of gigs, not ska bands, but you know, like bands like
Yeah.
us, you know, like
absolutely.
70s horn rock bands, you know. So the horns were kind of always like I was always for sure on the horns, you know, like we got to get some horns.
Good.
It's a true blast. Brass
Now
player,
we
let's
can't
say.
get rid of them.
Right. That's what people like. Yeah, right. Come for the horns.
Cool. So what started all this EP stuff? Do you have another one from years past or anything, or is this just something brand new?
This is number 3.
Number 3.
Yeah.
Yes.
EP number 3.
Oh my gosh.
It's like every 5-ish years or so is basically when we've been dropping them.
Pretty
So,
much.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we've always had some of our own original music, and when we were playing in the local scene and stuff, I mean, there was more. I don't know. At least there was it seemed like a higher demand, or for us to do that at the time was original music, and we each had stuff. We each came from different bands, and some songs stuck, some songs didn't. And,
Sucked. Yep.
Same thing with horn players. Should we do horns? Should we do another guitarist? Or through that evolution. But I think we always wanted to come up with something ourselves.
So when was the first one?
That would have been 13 or 14.
2013.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Summer of 13.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was that called?
The Wicked Bees.
The Wicked Bees?
Yeah.
Self-titled?
Yeah, we were the
Here we go.
Ska Skank Redemption at the time.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
And we found ourselves kind of in the ska, rut. And we were writing stuff that wasn't necessarily ska, and it was more of a horn rock.
Right.
So our EP was called Wicked Bees through an inside joke while recording a song on that EP. But eventually we said, hey, we want to have more freedom to write all kinds of music, like a horn, rock, and not necessarily be ska. So we went with our first EP name as The Wicked Bees to do that, and it's been able to allow us to write more freely and write more original music to what we, I don't know, what comes out of us,
Right.
Gotcha. Then what was the second one?
Second one was called People Change.
People change, and so do I.
And that was
Bad.
and yeah, that was
I think it was like 17.
2017.
I
Yep.
think.
Yep. Yeah, that
Staying
sounds
under
right.
timeline there, 4 years.
Yep, about 4 or 5 years, something like that.
Mhm.
And that was we won a grant from the Arts Partnership.
Nice.
Yep. And so we went down and we recorded the same place that we recorded the first EP down in St. Paul.
That's what I was about to get to.
Yep.
Where did we record at?
Yeah.
Same place?
Same spot.
Every time?
The first 2 times, yes.
First 2 times.
Yes.
First
Yep.
2 times every time.
Yeah, right. Well, when consistency, we wanted to say something the same. We recorded with Jeremy, and we felt really good with Jeremy, so we wanted to do it again.
Okay.
So
What was the name of that studio? Want to give him a shout out?
Yeah, so it used to be called Pound Sound. He's no longer in that space, but he did all the mixing for our last, The Knees, coming up, our newest one. And yeah, he's a guy that's been in the Minneapolis scene for a long time. Has played with a million bands, and obviously he's got a great skill set when it comes to mixing, and he's got great ears, and he handles the producing. It was really fun to work with him in person. But and he also just has a ton of experience about just being in a band. I mean, he's like a rock advisor, kind of mentor for us when we were super young, and figuring out stuff. And it's cool to see him. He's blown, I mean, he's now on the road right now with Soul Asylum, so he's got that
very
gig.
good. Very good.
Yep.
I'm assuming running sound.
No,
of
playing
some-
bass.
he's their
playing
bass player.
bass?
Yeah, yep,
Even-
playing bass.
That's cooler yet.
Yep.
Go Jeremy.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and that's the other thing that makes him a great producer is he plays. I think what is his main is I think it's drums is his main, but
I think so too. He can do it all.
yeah, and he's
done
done it all in the
Oh.
many different bands that he's done. I mean, he's done one band that both musically and then also like knowing like the business side of being in a band. He's been in bands that like were unsigned to bands that were signed, to like major labels and like everything in between, and then he's been lead singer, frontman in a band. He's been drummer behind the kit for a band, bass player in a band. So he's a lot of breadth of experience, and so a good guy to know and to talk to. So.
Oh, exactly. Well, not sound guys, with recording people that when they have to go in and fix all the stuff that you don't know about.
Right.
And they do it the dark of night. Yes. But they can cover everything up really nicely and you don't even notice. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like this guy.
Yep.
So
And just a great presence, a good hang, and makes people feel at ease, which is important when you're
yeah.
when you're
Especially when you're recording, yeah. You noited out doing that stuff.
Yeah.
It does not work. No.
it gets intimidating, all those microphones and stuff too.
Oh,
you know? Like just you're like, oh man, there's this guy and he's got all this experience, but like
I wish I could find the old pictures when I was in the studio, but yeah, it's intense. Too intense. But the knees here, when did this come about and why? Just because you have to? I don't think.
Well, kind of, actually.
Kind of, actually. We
yeah,
had to be
yeah.
relevant for some reason.
Yeah, right. Well, so we proceeding. I mean, we've been going what, a year and a half now. But before that, we had actually been on like a 4-year hiatus. So
Makes
not
sense.
playing
Everyone
any
getting their lives together.
Yep, getting your life together, and COVID was in there too. You know, so.
We don't talk about that. Yeah, still recovering.
But it had been about 4 years, and then I think all of our ears started burning, you know, because I hit Andrew up and was like, "Would you have, any interest in doing this?"
and I was like, yep, man, let me check the schedule, and was like, yep, I'm open. And a lot of the songs that we recorded on the New Knees EP, we just kind of had in the works, and just kind of didn't know.
Oh,
let's finish this.
Still
let's do
fleshing it
that,
out.
and
some of the stuff, was like left on the cutting room floor, like tunes that we were familiar with. Some stuff was brand new too. But anyways, the reason to go ahead and do it was, again, thanks to our friends at the Arts Partnership, applied for another grant and we won it. And so it's great to have deadlines, and to have, that's
I
what
agree.
those things are so good for, because you can't procrastinate. It's, okay, well, you guys have to do this now.
Mm-hmm.
So figure it out as a band. And I think it was really cool to have a project like an overarching creative project like that, where we could kind of come together and gel as a band, not just by playing, but by being creative and making art.
So is that when you took this hiatus, when you brought in all the horns? Was that when all that happened, or did you have horns before that, before you went to the hiatus?
Yeah, we always had horns. As
You
long
always
as we
had
were the
horns?
Wicked Bees and the Ska Skink Redemption, over
Okay.
the 10 years, we always pretty much had horns, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay. I guess I learned something today. I thought I just kind of developed into that. Oh, cool.
These
So
are
you just had all these songs, you started getting them back up on the road, and then you got it all recorded down. So where'd you track at then? You said you had Jeremy mix it for you. Makes me wonder. So where did all the tracking happen?
So the tracking happened in both. Yeah, okay. So it was tracked. Drums were tracked in
This gets
Bismarck.
complicated.
We couldn't get Jeremy. Jeremy
Yep.
is, Soul Asylum's firing up on all 8 cylinders and making all kinds of great tours. And he, unfortunately, Jeremy
horse they
was
rode
able to
back
help
in
us.
on.
Yeah. So we kind of had to break it down a little bit. And Clyde was working on his own studio too. So we just kind of broke it down a little bit into and spaced it out. We did the drums in Bismarck with that was Red Dot.
Yep, with Tyler.
Red
Pilot,
Dot with
yeah.
Tyler Pilot. That was great. We did drums there. And then the rest of it was with Clyde
Yep.
at 8 Side Studios, right?
8 Side Studios,
Yeah.
yes.
Yep. And so it was cool, because we had known of Tyler for a long time and have wanted to work with him. And Clyde has that new spot in Moorhead, which is awesome that, because really when it comes to tracking, it comes down to like getting the good takes,
Yeah.
and that, and that just takes time and being comfortable, so it made a lot of sense to not break our backs to go all the way to Minneapolis or anywhere else where time is limited, and then also Clyde did a great job. And his setup and everybody over there that's running that place has really got it dialed in. So
Yep.
it was cool to keep
a
that
shout out
in-house.
to Nick Hogginson over there.
Yes.
Another bass player. What are all these bass players doing?
Are they all bass players, right? That run that.
It seems that way.
What's going on?
Ow.
We're on to you.
Yeah.
But Isaac, you're really quiet over here. Now, basically,
These guys know way more than me. They were the starters of this thing, so I'm relatively new, just a year and a half.
year and a half. Well, so you're the baby of the group?
More or less.
More or less?
Andrew, our sax player, is just as
The
good
other
as I
Andrew,
am.
not the
Yeah,
Andrew the
yeah.
drummer.
The other
Does Andrew the drummer have a mic on stage?
Nope.
He does most of the talking down here. It's just fucking, it's cool.
That's why I know.
So I always say this. Like, they're
Well,
going
I
to give
don't
me a
have
mic.
anything
I'm
to
like,
do.
you want to get fired? That's all that's going to happen. So as the baby of the group, what made you want to join up?
Well, I think what started it. Actually, I was playing an Easter gig with Dan one year,
Okay.
and we were on a break. Right?
Yeah, I think so.
think that's how it happened.
Yeah.
And we're just sitting around, and he's like, "I'm thinking of putting this band back together and getting going again. Would you be interested?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Now, was Dan playing trumpet or was he
Yeah.
playing guitar?
Yeah,
Yep,
trumpet.
figured.
Yeah. So it was a brass quintet gig. I forget all who was there.
Yeah.
I think Dr. Mac from NDC
That
was
sounds
there.
right.
And who was playing tuba? I don't remember.
Is it Doug?
Doug Neal probably.
It's probably Doug.
You know.
But yeah.
Shout
So yeah,
Old
Doug
Doug.
Neal.
Shout out.
So we were there, just on a break, and you want to get this together? Sure. So we did a reunion show. So my first show with these guys was actually their reunion show, and
Oh, okay.
yeah, and they had their original horn players came back too.
Oh yeah.
So I met those guys then. That was cool. And for a
Pass the
while, I was just a
torch.
sub, and then I kind of just kept subbing. Technically, I'm still a sub, I think. But
They haven't hired you yet.
right.
No.
I'm just
You
kidding.
don't
He's-
get the benefits.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
He's been so good as a sub. It's crazy. He's subbed in all of our promo photos. And like,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Looks exactly like the other
Yeah,
guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Can't find a better sub.
Well, that's awesome. What's one of your favorite memories from playing with these guys for the past year and a half? Or
Well,
craziest ones? Oh, geez.
craziest ones. I gotta tell this story with the bachelorette party. So this is
Playing
funny.
bachelorette
This was
parties.
well, okay, we were at Zorba's
Yeah.
in Detroit Lakes,
Oh
and this
yeah.
bachelorette party comes in the party bus.
Oh, came in and
And
crashed.
It was
Yeah.
like a 4-hour gig or something. We were there really late, and they came near the end. And Andrew Danielson, our saxophone player,
Not the drummer.
no, our saxophone player,
Another Andrew.
one of the girls wanted to have him give her a piggyback ride. So he did. That's it. That's the whole story, but it was really funny.
I think didn't they have like it was like dare cards or something like
Yeah.
that. It was like
Oh.
something like and it was like ask a hot guy for a piggyback ride. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember from that too, is like we saw this, or like all these girls were saying like the hot one, and that's when I realized like, man, we're old now. Like she said singular,
Yeah.
you know. And I remember too.
Feel bad about that.
Clyde was like, which one? Or like, what do you mean?
Yeah. We did forget to.
What do you
put that
mean?
in
There's
the
just
job
one of us.
So who's the old man in the group then?
I think that'd
I
be
know.
me.
That's
Yeah,
Dan.
yeah,
Oh,
that'd be me.
Dan.
I know.
Dan's still a youngin' over here. Yeah.
It's crazy.
I couldn't believe it when I
It's
became
wild.
the old man in the group. I'm like, what?
It's gotta-
What is going on?
it's bound to happen sometime.
Yeah, exactly. And
No,
I'm
no, no,
basically-
that's not true. That's not true. Dorian is. Dorian's older than me.
Doran's older
Oh,
than me.
there we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he tried.
Under the bus.
Aha.
There you are. So I always say I'm one oopsie away from becoming a grandpa. So let's, you guys, you know what you need to do out there. Not that. Andrew, when you joined up, what were you expecting to have happen, basically? Or just
Just
a drum for a few months and then yay?
Oh no, I don't
Oh,
know.
no.
Dude, it's interesting. Like the way gigs go, it's either I think at this point have subbed everybody except me or Dan. If Dan can't make it, it's not happening.
It just doesn't happen?
If I haven't made it,
Has
not
Clyde?
happening.
Have we ever?
Believe it or not, I remember way long ago. I think it was like literally like 3 or 4 gigs. Our first ones we couldn't do with
Oh,
Clyde
yeah,
because
right.
literally I think he had like
Didn't
high
Mitch
school.
Rittenbach play? Or
Yeah,
something
I
like
think it was
that?
Mitch. We had a sub
Mitch.
for him.
There we go.
And
Wow.
I remember our first gig, it was like, okay, finally our actual bass player, this
Yeah.
kid Clyde from Moorhead.
Yeah.
And I remember that kid jumped off the stage right away and started
Yeah.
dancing
Oh,
in
yeah.
the crowd with people. And it was like,
There's
oh
the
my
energy.
gosh.
Yeah.
Like, the kid
This
just
is
ran
it.
with it.
Yeah.
He was originally, I think, a guitar player too. We're like, hey, can you play bass for us? He's like, all right, yeah, I got one too.
Yeah.
And just left.
Clyde is a
into it.
guitar player?
Yeah.
Originally, I think
he
he
originally
was.
If I
was.
knew that, I forgot. Sorry,
Yeah.
Clyde.
Yeah. He played. He's the guitarist of Low Speed Chase too. The
Low
trio
Speed
who's up there.
Chase.
Yep.
Mhm, mhm. But I think he's mostly bass now.
Oh, yeah. He's
But
put in the work for that. He's
Yeah.
a bass
Oh,
player.
man,
He's
yeah.
a
Right.
bass player.
He just goes right into the groove and doesn't come back. So It's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
great.
So what do you guys got coming up here? And what's ahead of you? Besides the EP coming out here, it's going to be dropping on Tuesday, the 18th. Is that correct, or is it the 19th? 18th?
The 18th of October.
October. Oh,
yeah,
I kept
so-
thinking September.
Nope.
No, okay.
So a little more lead
October.
time. Yep. So October, which is a Friday, October 18th.
Do you have any leakages of some of the songs, or is it just like you just have to wait?
We do, yeah. I mean, I'm not prepared. I don't think I have them ready to play, but we do have. Yeah, we have everything is mastered and back to us, and it sounds great. I think if you listen to the rig rundown that we did with Isaac, we put one of the songs as a little teaser of that.
Okay.
So if you want to check that out, you'll hear a little snippet.
Oh, that's right, the rig rundown. So I want to start
Yeah.
doing that with this
Or
podcast
you
as
just
well.
come
We
see
thought
us
about this
live,
months
too.
ago.
Yeah.
And then I saw Isaac putting that out there with the pedal board and everything else, and it basically it cut off right when you started showing off the what am I thinking? The reverb pedal, which blew my mind after I heard it on there. I was like, "What? Oh my gosh! Yeah, you got to have something like that. You got to explain a little bit about this, there, sir." I just need to
Yeah.
know about it because I always thought about doing this with marimbas and stuff like that, not actual horns, because I just
Yeah.
figured you guys can just do what you need to
Yeah.
do.
So the idea for it, I kind of got inspired by trumpet player Roy Hargrove.
Hargrove.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, you know Roy Hargrove.
Yeah, who's
Oh,
that
yeah.
guy?
Yeah.
If you don't know,
so-
go look him up. Roy
but
Hargrove.
He played in a band called the RH Factor. That's his initials, Roy Hargrove, RH Factor. And he does some cool stuff on there with effects, and that's kind of how I figured out about it. And I started looking at it online, and I realized that there's a lot of people out there that have little pedal board rigs. So it started just with an Ottawa, like just one pedal, and then it kind of became an addiction a little bit. I don't have a ton.
It's turning into that
4.
guitar player thing.
Yeah, but I quickly realized there's a lot of pedals like a distortion. I wouldn't really want to put my trumpet through that. Not super applicable to me. But yeah, I got like the Ottawa synthesizer pedal, reverb, delay. That kind of has everything that I need pretty much.
Yeah,
But
for today.
yeah.
You got to ask Dan how many pedals he has on his rig.
It's the so I used to work at. Do you ever go to Tone Syndicate back in the day?
That's-
Of course, yeah, of course. What we worked there together.
Exactly.
Sorry. Yes, yeah. Oh my god, that was disrespectful. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah,
R.I.P.
but Dave always used to call it gas, right? Gear acquisition syndrome.
Yeah.
It's like you got gas. Yeah, so I got a bad case of gas my whole life.
I was just at
So
Guitar
he's just
Center on
not
the way
saying,
here,
so that's
right
all
before
right.
this.
Nice.
And how many pedals is Andrew running over there?
Well, 3 if you want to count the kick as 2.
There you go.
No, that's all I need. That's so far all I've got. But if I'll say anything that I have done unique lately, though, has been the addition of the cocktail set.
Yes. That's
If any
cool.
of you have not seen or heard what a cocktail set is, they originated from the 60s. You basically just play a full drum set standing up.
Yes.
So the low tom and the bass drum are essentially the same. And the whole thing fits in one wagon. You make one trip, and
what?
yeah, I've already
What?
gotten some videos and some stuff with us playing and using it.
Yeah.
but it's been a total blast to play with because it sounds like a full drum set. But here I am standing on one leg, just holding it down.
Yeah, he's really come to make that thing sound good, like to the point where it's like I'll look back and be like, oh, he's on Cocktail tonight. That's crazy, like
Eye level with you.
can't
Like,
tell the
no.
difference. Yeah.
So what brings out the cocktail kids? Just the size of the stages, or are you just like, we're gonna try this tonight just because?
Yeah, well, the biggest thing has been how much work it takes, how much time it is to move it, and the more shows that we had going on.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, but the biggest thing though was a lot of the stages I've kind of noticed are getting smaller and smaller. Like a brewery, they don't put in a stage; they just say,
No.
"Oh, well, there's a corner over there."
Exactly, yeah.
And there's more breweries, so there's just more smaller stages. So I just said,
I'm hearing a lot more about that. So like all these breweries are starting to bring in live music all the time. And granted, I'm sure the acoustic thing is cool, but they're on live band here and there. It's probably really cool. How many people do you have in this band? I think you said, but I'm blanking it.
I think there's 6 basically. It's like
6?
full,
Okay,
yeah.
6 people on stage, and I think 4 is a crowd. So,
Yeah.
See, horn players get to cuddle up. Who gets a cuddle?
No comment.
We share.
No,
It's equal cuddle.
Yeah.
It's equal
Cuddle
cuddling.
ship. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're at the age we do our own bed thing. We're not at our own bus yet, but we each
Yeah.
get our own bed now.
Yes.
oh man.
So,
It's democratic cuddling. Yeah.
Well, you know how it is. So what's coming up then? I know we asked this before, but
So the 18th is going to be the release show, and
Of
that'll
the
be the day of
knees.
the knees. That's right. And
the
then-
bee's knees. I figured it out before they walked in here. I thought I was so clever.
That'll be the show will be at Dempsey's, kind of our home turf. you know?
Beautiful. Yes.
Yep. Love Dempsey's. And then the night before, actually, we're gonna do something which we've never really done before. I mean, we kind of did it, but we're gonna do it all ages this time, and we're gonna maybe put a little bit more thought and oomph into it. But we're gonna do a CD listening party over with our friends
Oh,
over
interesting.
at Swing Barrel
Gotcha.
in Moorhead. Yeah, Clyde has been working on figuring out, like the kind of the flow of the nights. But basically, we wanted to offer something to people that want to come out and support us, but don't want to have to wait until, Dempsey's can kind of be a later night, and
Exactly.
can be like a little bit of a rowdier crowd, which is perfect for a ska band and what we want to do. But if you want kind of a chiller night, a little mellow, you still want to hear the EP, and you want to support your local ska band, come on out. It's going to be at, I believe, 6:30 on Thursday night, the October 17th. And it's over at Swing Barrel. They have a new kind of event space that's just adjacent to it.
Interesting. I've yet to be over there, so
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
it's good to know.
One of the part owners of Swing Barrel is the Drummer and High Lie. And they do a lot.
There we go. Yep.
Yep, and they do a lot of music, a lot of shows go through there. They definitely support live and original music here in our community, so thought it'd be a great fit.
Excellent. No, listening party. That probably should be brought out even more. So that's just another great way of marketing. So you kids out there are actually watching. Now, that's another thing to do. Make sure your name gets out there in many different ways as possible, because you just never know. You never know when someone's going to become a fan or not. Well, you got anything else for the good of the order here, or maybe you got some closing statements? I know Andrew's got a lot to say.
oh man, no, no. As far as we're just happy to be back and playing more music again, and it like I said, everything. Well, the biggest thing was the pandemic was going on. We were kind of in hiatus mode already, but just to get the itch to like play again, and there's so many cool new venues to play, and there's even more coming out and stuff, and so I think we're just happy to have our time to release, just our own music, our own style, and to be involved in the community and stuff too.
Man, you need to have your own podcast. You do well with all the speaking thing. But this is one thing I'm going to say about ska music. If you haven't gone out and seen any kind of live music, go out and see some ska. Trust me, you're just going to fall in love right away. The energy they put out, the show that comes on, everything that just happens in a ska setting. I miss it in the late 90s. Actually, it'd be the early 90s. There was a huge coming of ska in the Fargo Moorhead area, along with the 3 Minute Hero and all those guys. And, yeah, it went away for a little while, so thank you guys for keeping that alive. I mean, man, it's, again, you need to go out and check these guys out. The Wicked Bees. And let's see, where can we find you at?
iTunes and Spotify.
Oh,
We
iTunes?
got our own YouTube channel where both of our first two EPs are on there right now. You can play them, listen to them, stream them.
Awesome. Under what, the Wicked Bees or
Yep,
Wicked
just-
Bees Ska? Or?
Yeah, if you type in the Wicked Bees, both our EPs will come up. The first one under Ska Skank Redemption, and
Ska
then
Skank.
our newest
I
one,
love
People
that.
Change by the Wicked Bees. So, but the third one will be on there too in time for the release. So we'll be excited for that. That's where you can hit our listen.
We are on Instagram too, and we had our very first brush of a somewhat viral video this summer.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So,
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
fell off what?
we all tried to play the trumpet. that was the whole premise of
Yeah.
the video. Yeah.
But two of you can play. That's not fair.
And that was the whole thing exactly. It was like we all played trumpet, and then we had it was a guessing game. So here's them all playing who's the actual trumpet player. Yeah.
Interesting. I like it.
So
It's just me and Clyde embarrassing ourselves, really. Like, everyone, like, what should I play? Oh, well,
and then I was the red herring, Yeah.
Hide in the
red
back.
hair,
yeah. Right.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Isaac, what do you got to say? You can't be too quiet. You have a microphone in front of you.
I think I said all I need to say. It's been super fun playing with these guys. Like I said, I'm pretty new, so this has been a pretty cool experience for me to kind of get on the road experience gigging, long term more than just subbing. So that's been really cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, because the type of band we are, we're an original band. I think we had a really fun summer. We played a lot of gigs, a lot of out of town on the road type gigs, which I thought was cool and kind of gelling together. Our personnel.
Well, that's just another thing. It's just being on the road
Yeah.
with the people. You just get to learn so much about them, just so
Right.
much about humanity in itself,
Yeah.
instead of just getting holed up. And that whole COVID thing didn't really help that. But now everyone's getting back out and doing that again. So no, that's good. So how far do you guys travel? I know I'm continuing this thing. I'm just questioning now. Just wondering. Pick your brain.
I think our farthest west was we played Mott
Mott.
out past Bismarck. Yeah,
Yeah.
Our buddy Alex had a music festival out there, mic'd up, and he had us there for a couple years. We've been to South Dakota a number of times.
Dakota,
Hit
yeah.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Like a 3. I don't know.
Three and a half.
Like a 3.5 hour little radius around Fargo Moorhead.
Gotcha.
Yeah, well, we have so many teachers in the band. We got to be on teacher schedule. So once summer comes around,
Educators.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, once summer comes around, then it's time to we can go and we can. That's what I don't know.
Get out and do things.
So
That's
we're able to play year
the
round.
perks of
We're happy with that.
Yeah. Perks of the teaching gig, yeah, right. Is you get a little bit more flexible of a summer, and then usually, summer's when a lot of the fun gigs are to be had too. Like the outdoor gigs, the festivals, the fun stuff is in the summertime. So
Oh, outdoor gigs are the best.
yeah,
Yeah,
festival
just played
gigs.
one last night. Other than the flies, I got a video for you, Isaac. 'Cause you're talking about flies getting under your thing. I'll just show you
Oh
my.
God,
my
that was off. I think that was probably the craziest thing this summer.
Yeah, that was a contender for my craziest story. But for the people watching online,
yeah.
there were so many bugs that I was pushing my valves down, and they would land on the valve stem and get pushed in to the piston.
Oh, disgusting.
It was like
This is
gumming up.
bad.
Yeah,
Was that Animus? Was that
Yeah,
yeah, Prairie
Yeah.
Bottle, yeah.
Prairie Bottle.
Prairie Pothole Festival? We played. Yeah, our set time started at 11:30, right? 11:30, and yeah.
At night?
Yeah, at night.
Oh man.
But it was beautiful,
I'm
beautiful place though.
Yeah.
But a lot of bugs. So
They didn't bite though. None of the bugs.
they didn't
bit.
bit.
Oh really?
I
But
swallowed a couple
There
for
were
sure.
so
Yes,
many, and they
yes.
just rammed you like a bird hitting a window. Like they just kept hitting you, and they were heavy too. They're like little pebble-sized bugs. They kept hitting you.
Well, I got a video to show you before you
Yeah.
leave from my fun last night. Thank God the haze machine was doing its job. That's all I
yeah.
can say. All right. Well, you can find these guys on Facebook. You can find them on YouTube.
Got a
Spotify,
website,
all that
too?
stuff. They got a website.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
This highly technical stuff. What's the website name?
WickedBees.com.
wickedbees.com. Excellent. All right. And you can find us on Pirate on Cassette Band on most major social medias. And then also you can find us at pirateoncassette.com and all other fun stuff, and on this podcast here as well on the YouTubes and everything else. So you got to remember, folks, if your drummer's got more personality than your front man,
Oh,
your
wow.
band
here
may be in
comes.
trouble.
Here it
What's
comes.
that about?
Wow.
Yeah, so that's why my band's doing just fine. So until next time.